So I apologize in advance for looking dead and tired because I got my COVID vaccine 2 days ago. So, I'm not feeling the greatest, but here we go anyways. So this is the PSD for my Chris Paul design. Here's the final. I'm sure you guys have seen it because a lot of you were asking for this breakdown, so I decided I might as well just do it. So I'll just walk you through what I did, I guess. So I started with the 3 pictures of Chris Paul, and this is after I put the camera raw on them. Usually I just do clarity, sometimes a dehaze, mess with the shadows a bit to get them all to look kind of similar. But there's a big difference here because these 2 CP3 images, they didn't really, this one was much brighter and everything, so I had to adjust a lot of things with the lighting. But before I get into the lighting stuff, I'm just gonna show you all the 3D. So this 3D, I didn't make it, although I had to mess with the lighting and the colors of that, but it's just 3 different Shutterstock images that I found, and I put them all together. I had to change the colors, so I used selective color in order to change the light blue and pink to orange and purple. Then I just brightened it up as much as I could so it would pop more than it did. So it goes from this to this. So that was the text in the back, and then I had these 3 images here. So in order to create some light sources, add some cool lighting effects, I also decided that these spaces were way too empty and I needed to add stuff. So I made my own circles. So these are the foreground lights that I added. I made my own circles. So if you go here, I had a normal circle, and then I just put varying amounts of Gaussian blur on it, put them on screen overlays, and messed with the hue, saturation, and lightness until I got a color look that I liked. And all of these are on screen right now. And then I just copied that over to the left side as well. So it's just a bunch of ellipses I made with the shape tool, and just different amounts of Gaussian blur and different hue saturations on them, and just put them on top of each other, stacked them in order to create a cool little lens flare light effect. And I kept as the foreground, so there would be something there. And I just copied it, put it in the back, made it not as visible, and made it purple, so there was a little bit in the background too. And then here I just put the Phoenix Suns logo, which isn't very visible at all actually. It's very subtle, but it just kind of helps with everything. So now I get into the lighting. So I started with the front CP3, and what I did to darken him and work on his shadows, I obviously made the bottoms of all the players much darker than they already were to begin with, and then I just exaggerated the shadows a little bit, adjusted some brightness on the player. You can see just little highlights where the light would be. And then I put a curves layer like this, which would make the highlights darker and the shadows brighter, and put on luminosity. Luminosity means it doesn't change the color and stuff. So this way it seems more similar to these, because these don't have as much contrast as this did, the other images. So I did that, made it a bit darker. Made it a little bit darker with the black and white gradient map, and then I felt all 3 of these images were close enough in color that the lighting would be able to make them blend properly. So for all of these I did 4 different hue saturation layers. One of them was the bright purple, so here just wrong layer. This is just a bright purple around here, where you'd think it would come from, because it's coming from here and then it's coming from here. And then I had the purple color, which is just so the bright purple, I put the lightness up a bit, and then the purple color, there was no lightness adjustment, it was just a saturation, so I just changed the skin color a little bit to make it purple, make it blend more. And then I did the same thing with orange. I started with orange color here, but so this was no lightness and orange color because there's orange coming from here, and then same thing here, just bright orange in order to just create a highlight there. And then overall I put curves to make them a little bit darker, still to fit with the other ones. And then I just went to the other CP3 ones and did mostly the same, just darken the bottom, shadows, highlights, gradient map to make it a bit darker, normal purple color, the bright purple, the normal orange, the bright orange, in order to create all these highlights from where these are coming from. So now you can see like these two images look super similar, unlike they did at the beginning. And then I go to the back one, same thing, darken the bottom, shadows, brightness, highlights, make it a bit brighter so he's not as dark, and then make it a bit darker in order to create some contrast. Gradient map to make him even more dark. And then I did the purple color because there's purple coming from these two sides, brighter purple along his shoulders and neck. Then I did the orange. I made it a bit subtle here because I didn't want his head to be completely orange. And then I did the bright orange. But this isn't really what brought out like everything in the what's it called, in the design. The big thing I did was put screen layers on top, varying brightnesses. So this one I just put a couple from where these light sources are, and you can see it just like brightens up the area, makes it blend a bit better. And then same here, like this is these purple like flares are here, so I put purple there, orange from these flares, and then for this one I put some purple coming from the bottoms of these neon signs, and then some more purple coming from the top ones, and these are more heavy so they pop a bit more. So with and without that, it just like brightens up the design overall and makes it like overall flow better. And then on top of that, I put on my color corrections, which are just color lookups, color balances, levels to adjust the brightnesses to how I like it, and then exposure in order to create just create like a nice blend of it. And when you put all that on, it adds some contrast, adds some like overall just more of a blending to it. And then this, I did some blend if and blending options and made it so that it would stick to the whites, and then I just messed around with like some orange and purple. So as you can see, when I put it on like this, this becomes more purple, this becomes more orange, this becomes more orange. So overall, like it just blends in more instead of sticking out. So it just overall makes the entire piece flow better and doesn't make like random pieces that don't need to be sticking out like the valley. It just makes it seems like the lighting is affecting that too. And then I always do final adjustments on top, which is usually in Camera Raw. I mess with the what's it called? One second, I'm pulling it up right now. I usually mess with the color grading. Like this has helped me a lot, like just the shadows and stuff. Like you go here, move it up, like it just makes everything blend better, kind of like this. Just mess with these midtones, everything. Then usually I'll go into lens corrections, and at the end I'll just give a red cyan fringe or something. Sometimes I'll put distortions like this to make it like the lens correction show more, but I didn't really do that to this one. And then I'll just end by adding some noise to it. So overall, the color correction and lighting groups that I have here, it's what really makes the design, because without those two, looks like that. Then when you add them, it looks like it blends a lot better. Yeah, there's really not much to this design other than the lighting layers, because like really if you look at the background, it's just this one like flare that goes across the back, and these neon signs I found on Shutterstock. I didn't make them, but really it's just the lighting that really makes this design as good as it is, because there's really not a lot to it other than all of these layers that I have here. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll put out more breakdowns in the future, hopefully some more tutorials. I plan to get more active on YouTube now that I'm in the summer, so yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this and learned something, and I plan to put out a lot more.